If you're looking to purchase a new construction home
or looking to buy a resale home,
you don't want to miss what we're about to cover. I'm Vicki.
And I'm Kyle.
And we've helped hundreds of people buy, sell, and invest here in Las Vegas.
And we can help you too. Simply reach out to us at the information below or in the description. In this episode today, we're going to be covering the pros and cons of buying a new construction home versus an existing resale property and why it's different here in Vegas. And we're going to also expose some of the hidden fees that might wreck your budget. Stick around.
New build pro number one. New builds has something that resale can never have, and that's it's never been lived in.
Definitely. Still got that fresh car or new car scent.
And like our good friend said, you will never find those old dirty toenail clippings in the carpet.
And also my buddy Jacob, he lives in this area. He said he wanted a house that he knew for a fact that no one had passed away in. And so buying a new build is one of the ways to guarantee that that is something that you get. The first pro on our list for buying a resale home is that it's usually more affordable. Here in Las Vegas, there was a study done a few years back that showed it was almost 30% more expensive to buy a new construction home just down the street from a home that's already existing that might be 2 or 3 years old. So the first thing you need to know is it's probably going to have a lower price tag if you're going to buy a resale home.
While that might be true, new builds actually offer really incredible incentives that will lower your interest rate, your closing costs, so it does make it very affordable for you, the buyer. Our next pro tip for new builds is that incentives have never been better. Since 2022, interest rates have just been increasing, and so builders have been offering absolutely incredible incentives here in Las Vegas. We've seen interest rates in the 6s and 7s, and builders have offered incentives as low as the 3s, even a 2.99 for the first year as a 1, 2, 3 rate buy down.
And not only that, do they also offer appliance packages and upgrades to the house and things like that. But what's important to know about those interest rates that Vic's been mentioning is that on the resale market, if you're gonna try to buy your interest rate down yourself, say you're the seller, it's about 1/4 point of interest rate that you would have on your payment is 1% of the house. So if you had a 7% rate and you wanted to drop it to 6.75, 1/4 of a point, it would cost you $7,000 on that $700,000 house. So for simple math, if you were buying a $500,000 house and you wanted to take that 6% rate down to 5, 1 whole point for your buyer, say you're the seller, you would then be paying $5, $10, $15, $20,000 out of your net income that you'd be making on the sale in order to buy that buyer's rate down. So it's very hard for a seller to buy a buyer's interest rate down 1 whole point or 1.5 points to go from 7 down to 3.5, because that costs so much money out of the seller's net versus the builder who is able to pay for that and offer those incredible incentives and interest rates to the clients. The second pro on our list for buying a resale existing home is that there's room for improvement. You may have heard the term sweat equity, and it's a lot harder to buy a newly constructed home and then jazz it up and then sell it for more money. You can't flip a new build, but you can flip an older home. And what's cool about that is that you can customize your house to make it exactly the way you wanted it. And maybe you might not have found those certain things that you would get at the builder, but there's just a lot more room for improvement that you can't really get at a new construction home versus buying a resale home. You can knock down all the wall. I mean, you could do it with a new build, you're just wasting unnecessary money. So you could buy it. That's the thing. You just can't get a great deal on a newly constructed home like you can on an existing home. If you get really lucky and get it for a few percent under fair market value, you've hit a home run. Now you can renovate it, you can even sell it for more money later, and that's something that I think some people are really gravitated to, especially with the flipping shows and everything that's out. People really want to have something that they can customize and make their own beyond just the builder's color palette and schemes that they have.
And we've bought older properties just ourselves and renovating it did make a lot of sense financially.
Yeah, it definitely did. So if you're looking to keep that budget a little bit lower, you can buy something and fix it up yourself.
Our next pro tip when it comes to purchasing a new build is that the warranties are absolutely amazing. You get pretty much a bumper to bumper warranty for 1 year or longer, depending on the builder, of course. But that's really great because you get warranties on things, on items that can really be fixed and give you that peace of mind that you're looking for when purchasing new.
Now you can buy a warranty on a resale home or an old home, but they won't have the same coverage limits, and it's probably not going to be the same quality as the builder's warranty.
That's true. And it's really important to note that we always suggest to our clients to have an inspection done even when purchasing a new build.
And the reason for that is it's a lot harder to get the builder to fix things afterwards than it is before it closes, because before it closes you'll do a blue tape walk and they'll make sure they fix anything that the inspections found. However, afterwards, if it's already closed, you're going to have to file a warranty claim in order for them to fix the stuff. So get you an inspection and then get all that stuff fixed prior to closing. Next pro on our list for buying a resale existing home is that they have larger yards typically, and it's where you're going to find no HOAs.
That's right. Currently, 75% of single-family homes here in Las Vegas reside in an HOA, and if you're purchasing a new build, that's more like 98%.
Definitely. So unless you're buying a new build that's like a one-off construction or a super custom, then you're really strongly going to have an HOA. And most of the town is in an HOA. But what we found from selling homes over the last decade is that a lot of the older homes, like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, tend to have bigger backyards. And there's, of course, certain pockets of town that will have more yard space than others. Like in Inspirada, you're not going to have a lot of big backyards versus Lone Mountain Estates area. You're going to have tons of huge half-acre rural estates properties. But with that being said, if you're looking to not have an HOA, then you probably aren't going to want a new build home. And if you're looking to get a bigger lot, then you're probably going to not want a new construction home. Otherwise, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg to get that extra large size lot in a new build community. And that's where they charge you those big lot premiums. They might have lot premiums for 5 and 10 grand for the regular lots, but then you want that corner lot that's like twice the backyard, they charge you $50,000, $60,000. And so large lots and no HOAs is in the resale world.
Our next pro when purchasing new is that a lot of new build communities will be on the edge of town here in Las Vegas. There are about 30% of new build communities peppered throughout the community, but if you are looking for a new build or a home that is kind of away from the hustle and bustle, it most likely will be on the edges or the outskirts of Las Vegas. So it'll be a lot more quiet, a lot more peaceful, a lot more
away from traffic.
Away from and the strip, so the tourists. And if that's something that you are looking for or interested in, then new construction may be for you.
And if you work in the heart of town, you're probably going to need to live closer to it. But if you work remotely or don't need to go to the center of town or fight traffic, then being in a new build probably is going to be for you. Next pro on our list is unique charm and retro vibes. We once sold a very famous person's house. It was John Spilotro. If you've seen the movie Casino, that's Tony the Ant Spilotro, or Joe Pesci's character's brother. They were all in the Hole in the Wall gang, if you've ever seen any of that. But he's an old school mobster, and we got the pleasure of buying and selling that mobster house, and it was an incredible property that had just such a unique charm and vibe to it that you're not gonna get in a 1990s cookie cutter home or even super contemporary new construction home. And so that's one special thing that you're never gonna get in a new build property is history and a rich culture that you could only get with a resale home that has that history. So like think of a historical district like Wesley or McNeil. Those are homes that have been around for 60 plus years, and they just have a vibe and feel and culture and lifestyle that is very different than you would get in a more sleepy sort of newly constructed part of town where it just doesn't have a hustle and bustle or people living there. If you're looking for a home that was a former celebrity's home, or like this was the home that was in the movie Goonies, you're just never gonna get that in a completely new constructed home.
And what's really interesting is that selling that mobster home, a lot of the neighbors actually lived there since that home was built. So it was a lot of the original neighbors. We got so much history, and it was just a really cool experience, not just for us, but of course for our buyer and sellers as well. And just really cool.
Yep, got to be in resale world for that. Time out. Before we finish the rest of this video, we do have an important notice that you need to know. Before going to any of the new construction homes, make sure you bring us, your realtors, with you to register you on your first visit. Do not register online. Make sure we're with you as your designated representative. That way we are able to negotiate on your behalf to get you the best deal. So always go with your realtor first. Now let's get back into it.
Now, a new build con that you may not know about is that there may be hidden fees when it comes to purchasing new build. And that hidden fee could be in the form of a SID or lid, and a new build may or may not have that, and that could be just an extra cost for you on your mortgage payment.
Another thing to know about new builds is they have some of the highest property taxes because it's about 1% or more of the sales price. So if you are buying a $600,000 home, you're now gonna have a $6,000 a year annual property tax.
Now also, new builds have amazing incentives and great prices, but a new build can advertise, let's say $400,000 for a home, and that may not include the lot premium, which means if you are looking for a larger lot, that price may be an additional cost for you. Another additional fee could be home upgrades, and that could be anywhere from the lighting, surround sound system, or even a fireplace. Some builders have move-in ready homes where you're not allowed to have those upgrades and they're not available, but other new builds will allow you to make changes on your home, and those changes could cost you an additional fee, and those add up very quickly.
Yeah, a lot of buyers that we've spoken with over the last decade complain that they see an advertisement of a home in the mid 400s, so 450, and then they go walk a model that's 600,000. They get sold on the model, and then when they go to build their home out, they're like, whoa, why is this $545,000? Like I thought it was mid 400s. But so it's not really bait and switch. It's just they're not advertising, all the necessary upgrades that you might want to make for your home. But more importantly, you're seeing a model that oftentimes has 20 to 40% of the sales price worth of upgrades in it.
Yeah.
So what you walk through is usually significantly more expensive than the base price, and then the base price just comes with vinyl floors, carpet, and laminate countertop, or just a cheap granite.
Right, and we're not saying this to scare you in any way. In fact, we're explaining this to educate you guys so you feel comfortable and confident before you even sign the contract. You know what you're getting yourself into.
And make sure you hire a professional like Vicki or I. She does tons of new build homes and helps clients negotiate those fees so that you're not paying as much as you might end up paying otherwise.
That's right. I negotiated a lot premium that was $40,000 all the way down to $2,000 for my clients. So these extra additional fees could absolutely be negotiated on your behalf.
Yeah, that's how you use a realtor to avoid wrecking your budget when buying a home. The first con on our list for buying a resale home is obviously the upkeep, maintenance, and efficiency. It's no doubt that buying a home that's 20 or 30 years old is not going to be as well insulated or energy efficient as a newer or new construction home is. They just have newer air conditioner systems with better technology. They're better insulated. And so it's one thing to think about the repairs and maintenance that you're going to deal with on an older home than you would on a brand new home.
That's right. For a resale home, there are more wear and tear on the property, and there will be more maintenance and upkeep when it comes to a resale home. It's just not built the same as a newly constructed property. And also the summer sun can really take a lot of strain on everything, not just a property.
Yeah, not just outdoor furniture, it's tough on a house too.
Yeah.
So maintenance, upkeep, energy efficiency is not going to be what it is on a new construction home.
Our last new build con is that new builds do not offer pools. Most new builds, at least. A lot of new builds won't offer pools, and that's because a pool could actually delay the closing of a new build. And if you do want to add a pool, you most likely will have to do it once the home closes, and that could take an additional couple months. On top of that, you do need permission by the HOA if your new build is in an HOA, which most likely it will be.
Yep.
And on top of that, there are restrictions now with the water district on how big your pool can be. So that is going to be 600 square feet.
Yep.
And you can't make it larger than that. So it can be smaller, but if you're looking for a larger pool, then new construction may not be for you, and you may want to purchase resale. If you're looking for a home that you can move into and enjoy the pool immediately. And also a home that has a pool in a size that you want, a larger size, bigger than 600 square feet.
Gonna have to go to resale.
You're gonna have to go to resale, that's right.
The next con on our list is mature trees and landscaping. Now, some people might view that as a pro. They want to feel like they're not in the desert and they're getting plenty of shade from these massive giant trees. But a lot of our clients, especially the older clients, they don't want to deal with a lot of maintenance, and having really large trees means that you're either going out to trim them yourself or you're hiring a licensed professional tree trimming service to make sure that they aren't leaving debris all over the place. We also get high winds sometimes here in town, and trees are prone to breaking and falling into the street. Then you've got to pay and deal for that. Sometimes we had a tree fall over and break our wall. Our neighbor's tree broke our back wall, and it took them like 2 years before they finally paid to fix the back wall. So having large trees is something that you're only going to find in an older part of town or a resale home. You are not going to find a tree this large or 30 or 40 or 50 feet in the air in any new construction community in town. That's a very Las Vegas thing. It might be different in other towns where you got trees everywhere, but we're in a desert, so if you want to find giant trees, 40-foot trees, they would have had to have been planted 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago in these older communities. So it is a pro for some people to have that beautiful look, the shade, the, you know, just the aesthetic that you get with a big tree. But for many homeowners, they step into a property that has giant trees. We even took 3 40-foot pine trees off of our own property just because of all the debris and the cost to upkeep and the landscaping. So that's a con on our list today. You might view it as a pro.
We were also transforming the space into something else, but I personally, I do love this type of landscaping, but do keep in mind, larger trees like this can uplift sheds or concrete, you know,
they break
flooring,
into
and
sewage piping, and
yeah, so it can have a higher cost than what it looks like. Just
definitely, there's just more maintenance, upkeep, and cost dealing with mature 40-year-old trees that might be on your property. Now, not every old home is going to have giant trees. It just happens to be that all of the newest homes do not have giant trees. It would cost so much money for the builder to uproot a root system that's 30 feet wide to transport a tree this large. It just does not happen. Builders put in small 15 or 35 gallon trees that will eventually grow. So only old communities have monstrous trees, and so that's our con for having mature trees and vegetation.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video today.
Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We make new videos every single week so you can stay up to date on everything real estate and Las Vegas. And also we have a free relocation guide in the links and description below so you can figure out where's best for you if you want to move to town. And also you can book an appointment with us if you have any questions or want to know about some of the finite details about buying a new construction home or a resale home here in town.
We're happy to chat, answer all your questions, and walk you guys through the process from beginning to end so that way you guys feel really comfortable and confident every step of the way. So we would be honored to help you if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Las Vegas.
And if you are craving a video that we haven't done yet, make sure you leave a comment in the comments below and we'll go ahead and cover that in the future. That way you guys are getting the content that you want to see too.
Yeah, we love your feedback, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.